Alright, we're going to have a quick group game here. Well, I don't know if it'll be quick or not, but this is Season 13 group game. We have Phoenix versus Crane. Let me see if I can get some information about this group. We're starting out with an ethereal dreamer. Let's see, so it looks like alphasquid is 1-0 currently, and kikaze is 2-0. So only one player will remain undefeated after this game. There's not a lot on the Crane side here that you really want to play other than maybe the Brash Samurai. You could just open 3 Fate Guests, but you're not going to get the passing Fate if you do that, so that feels kind of bad. Yeah, so we see 1 Fate Brash Samurai, and Phoenix does take the passing Fate. Hey Rush, how's it going? Who else is in this group? A couple people I recognize. Forgotten Library draws a card. Artisan Academy is going to almost draw a card. Well, yeah, I mean it's just a regular game as much as any other group game is, which is maybe not as much as just like a game between 2 random people. This is for the Season 13 Discord League groups. So, Phoenix has first player here. Ethereal Dreamer gets used on the Void Ring, so it looks like we'll be seeing a Void attack probably. Both of these characters have 1 Fate, so getting the Void Ring would be pretty good. You do have to watch out for Magistrate Station though. If you attack Magistrate Station and you can't break it, then you're in some big trouble. So Phoenix will have to hope that they hit a good province here. Ooh, and that's exactly what happens. Finds the Magistrate Station there. So alphasquid can now safely defend with this. Wow, he's going on military too. That's surprising. The Brash Samurai does have 1 extra military skill, so on political, it would, like if you went political, the onus would be on Crane to play a card, whereas on military it's on you after he honors the Brash Samurai because he'll be up 1 skill on defense. And you definitely want to break this Magistrate Station. We could see a bonsai for Crane here, but of course the Voice of Honor is turned on now. That's the other problem with attacking into Brash Samurai, is he gets to honor himself as the first action. So Voice of Honor will be turned on for any events. We do see a bonsai. Let's see if there's a cancel for that. There aren't usually a whole lot of military buffs in the Phoenix deck, if I'm not mistaken. We're not going to see a cancel though. So Magistrate Station is breaking now. We'll see what Crane has here. Crane has a bonsai as well. So as long as the Crane player can prevent this from breaking, this should be a very strong turn for Crane. Like, you don't necessarily even have to win. It would be nice to win because that way you keep your Brash Samurai, but as long as you prevent the break, you get to stand up, and then you can pass your first conflict and wait to see if there's going to be a conflict character played, just in case, to protect the magistrate station. And then if Phoenix passes, you can attack any ring you want and probably break a province unless some conflict characters get played. And he is just going to win that on defense. Wow, I'm a little bit surprised that Phoenix attacked there and only had that one military buff. Or at least that was all he wanted to use. So Brash Samurai is going to stand back up, I think. So your next conflict is political. Okay, we see an Against the Waves, sure. This Ethereal Dreamer is only going to be a 1-1, so I'm not too worried about that. Gotta be ready to break when you go into Crane, yeah, definitely. Like, even if you have the cancel there, you probably don't cancel that, because again, this is just going to be a 1-1 Dreamer now. This does make it risky to attack, though, because if you run into Shameful, then you're not having a lot of fun there. Of course, I think some Phoenix players are running Kuroi Mori now instead of Shameful, so might not be a worry. So again, I would pass my first conflict here. Depending on what's in my hand, of course, like if he has a political rival in hand, he could potentially just not care about this, because if a political attack comes in, he can just drop that with 2 fate. He's gonna find Fertile Fields. That's a Seeker Fate for Phoenix, and it will be a card draw. But yeah, this gets talked about a lot, and I think this is a perfect example of it. Like, assuming he doesn't have, like, it depends, of course, on what's in his hand, but this is a time where I would definitely consider passing my conflict, because Phoenix is first player here, so he'll have to spend both of his conflict opportunities, and then Crane will still have 1 conflict left. So if you pass your first conflict, you sort of force him to make a decision before you do. This is going to be Military Earth at Fertile Fields. Like, now Kikaze can potentially defend this, play a conflict character, and then attack, and then you have to defend that. Like, it probably doesn't matter too much in this scenario, but if you're not going to use your second conflict this turn, then you should definitely pass the first conflict there. Wow, we see a Bonsai here. Putting a lot of value, I guess, on breaking that that library. I don't know if I really like the Bonsai there as the first action. He's actually going to lose an honor to resolve it twice. Yeah, I don't know. You also have Crane Box. Yeah, that's a good point. I always forget about Crane Box. But yeah, he does have that to defend against a political attack, so I guess he feels safer committing to a military here. He is going to get that break. But again, if you're not going to use your second conflict, I think you should just pass your first conflict there. Like, don't be afraid to pass conflicts, is my point, I guess. So Earthring going to discard a Clarity of Purpose. That's pretty decent. Yeah, you might as well just wait and see what's going to happen. For sure. He hasn't used this Artisan Academy yet. It's kind of a little bit late now, probably. Like, I think you probably used that at the start of the phase here, right? Like, I'm not really sure what you're gonna save it for. Like, if you were playing against Crab and they had Kasada out, then you just save it for that. But in this case, I see no real reason not to just use that at the start of the phase. Like, I guess the downside is that it could just give away information if you're not going to play that card. But if you're not going to use it, then I'm not sure what the point is. So going back to what happened a second ago, ooh, we do see the political rival come down. So he did have that to defend with, which again is what I was saying. Like if you have the political rival, then attacking first is probably correct. Um, he only gets to play it with 2 fate, which ideally you would want to put 3 on it if you can, but 2 is fine as well. So you just go fire here, right? Honor your political rival. Keep Voice of Honor on. The other rings aren't really doing anything this turn. Right, so going back to what happened a second ago, I didn't really like the Against the Waves on the Dreamer, just to defend that conflict. I guess if he has Shameful in row, though, then it makes sense if he doesn't have a conflict character to play. Maybe he was hoping Crane would hit Shameful and then he could force him to spend some more cards. But I also am not really sure if I like the Bonsai there. If you have a fan, I would have just waited till the second attack and broken it there. And we're actually going to see him run into Meditations, which is a little bit unfortunate because now this political rival will only be lasting until the end of the next turn, which is not really what you want to see. Not breaking this is pretty okay because you're going to have 2 Zero Fate characters next turn, so you can pretty safely just attack it again. We see a fine katana revealed. Not really what he wants to see here. Maybe he was hoping for an ornate fan or something. But again, like if you use that earlier in the phase, you get to play around that. Like you could have put the katana on the Brash Samurai and then saved the Bonsai. Potentially. I feel like that's probably worth it. I'm not 100% sure. Yeah. So again, if you can't break this, that's pretty fine. Like just go back and break it next turn. Crane is going to be a little bit on the back foot potentially since he spent all of his fate this turn and Phoenix didn't spend very much of his. But he is going to get the Imperial favor, and he does have Yoshi in the province row here. So next turn you could just go with a 2 Fate Yoshi and then pass. The thing you have to watch out for if you do that is, of course, the Cloud the Mind. Okay, he is going to play that Katana on the Brash Samurai. That's... Yeah, so now the Bonsai was just a waste because you could have done that instead. And then still had the Bonsai in your hand. So a little bit unfortunate, but I guess you just play it in this scenario because it's a free card, essentially. So yeah, he is going to get the favor. Of course, we haven't seen the splash yet. If it is Dragon and he has some Let Goes in hand, then he should probably feel okay playing the Yoshi here. Okay. Yeah, again, it is, again, unfortunate that he had to spend all of his fate last turn because it would be nice to play this Yoshi with more than 2 fate. Although 5 fires is a concern there. But like if you're playing a 3 fate Yoshi, is he really gonna 5 fires that when you have no other fate on the board? Probably not. It could be worth it if he gets to stick an embrace on it. Oh, he's just gonna pass. Wow, so he's saying, okay, I have a bigger board here. I'm just gonna take that fate and wait until next turn. That's fair. We see another Ethereal Dreamer come down, and 11 fate left. Yeah, I would play the Prodigy. Crane is first player here. If he can resolve a firing and dishonor this Prodigy, a Noble Sack would be pretty devastating. And again, the Crane player will have this blank Meditations to attack into here, which is nice. Unfortunately, the Fate Rings are water and air, which water is pretty good for the Phoenix, but not very good for the Crane player. So we do see one Ethereal Dreamer used on the water ring and one used on the fire ring. Seems good. And yeah, that's a good question, which streamer is which. Because if I would guess the no fate one is water. I think that would be the better play. Oh, it's the other way. Interesting. I guess that makes sense because if he goes water, he's going to covert the no fate one anyway. That's probably the thought there. So first attack for Crane here. I definitely would not be surprised if he does go for that firing. Although taking the water ring off the table is pretty nice, because then you're not forced to defend, but you do have to try and prevent him from breaking this magistrate station. We see Tattooed Wanderer on Prodigy of the Waves. Interesting. So, I mean, that's just making her a bigger Noble Sack target, if he does have that. Going to be hard with no bonsais, yeah. Just needs one storm. I mean, yeah, I would assume. I don't think like going water just seems bad here for Crane. Because then the Prodigy gets to stand. Ooh, he is going water though. So you're gonna covert the no fate Dreamer and go at Meditations. I guess we could see like 4 Shame into Noble Sack. That would be strong. Oh no, he's coverting. Okay, yeah, you cover the other one, I guess. That's fair. So yeah, if he does have 4 shames here, I think this is a strong play, probably. The only problem is the Prodigy can defend and then just ready afterwards. Like, the sick play here... Oh, we see no defense, actually. Interesting. I think that means display of power is likely here. Oh, never mind. Shrine Maiden into the conflict. Interesting. Oh, that's unfortunate. Discards Feral Ningyo, Fine Katana, and Let Go. So no cards from that Shrine Maiden. Yeah. Unfortunate. Stronghold's gonna bow that. That does nothing. We do see a Feral Ningyo, though. So it still did nothing. I would have just saved the Stronghold, probably, because... I guess he was afraid of Against the Waves. Or not Against the Waves, Storm there. So he just wanted to bow it first. That's fair. But the Ningyo is a slightly bigger problem because if he puts a fan on it, then he will not be, the Crane player will not be winning anymore. But I guess if you're getting him to spend a fan on a Ningyo, then that's okay. Steward of Law into the conflict, but ooh, he put 1 fate on it. I think he forgot about meditations, unfortunately. Like, you either put 2 fate or 0 fate there. There's no reason to put 1 fate. Feral Ningyo number 2. So you probably just pass now since it's tied. You know he doesn't have the 3rd Ningyo because he just discarded it. So he would have to play like a Storm or a Fan or something. So yeah, I would just pass here. And then if he does play one of those things, just 4-shame the one he played it on. Artisan Academy reveals Ancient Master. Okay. So we do know that both players are Dragon Splash now. I have to imagine the Phoenix player has something else, or there's not really a good reason to play the 2nd Ningyo. We see court games to dishonor an opposing character. Okay. I'm pretty sure you don't cancel that if you have the cancel. Like, it doesn't seem good. Yeah, I don't really know about that court games, to be honest. Because you still haven't turned off Voice of Honor now. Okay, we see Ancient Master into the conflict. Just to turn off Magistrate. Yeah, I guess that does turn off Magistrate if he wanted to unbow the political rival. He won't be able to do that now unless he plays the court games. But yeah, I don't know. That's fair, I guess. But yeah, Ancient Master into the conflict. Let's see what else he has. Court games. Oh, so he's going to honor the Ancient Master now. And that will put him at breaking. The Phoenix player passed. Hopefully he remembers to use this meditations action. Oh wait, does that not put him at breaking? Oh no, it doesn't. Sorry, I miscounted. Okay, he's gonna force shame. Now he's breaking. He's spending so many cards here, though. But but I guess the Phoenix player has spent a lot of cards as well. So not really a huge loss on either side. You do have to remember that all they're fighting over here is the watering, and that's just gonna bow that Ethereal Dreamer. Which, I mean, I guess she's a 3/3 on the fire ring, so. Yeah, he did forget meditations, unfortunately. I mean, that was a mistake on both sides, right? Like, the Crane player should not have played a Stewart with one fate there, and then Kikaze also should have used the meditations, so it balances out, I guess. But yeah, you definitely got to remember those province triggers. Um, I think people forget about them because they think like, okay, I'm either using the province ability as my first action during the conflict, or I'm not using it at all, right? Like if they attack with a zero fate character, I can't use meditations, and then they just keep that in their head that they don't have a province action, even if their opponent plays a character with fate. So you do have to watch out for that. We see Way of the Crane to honor political rival. Wow. So yeah, he's gonna stand that back up with Magistrate Station. Interesting. So that will pretty much blank the Phoenix political attack. So what I would actually consider now is Phoenix is just not doing a political attack at all. Like, I might even pass my first conflict here and then defend the military with the Prodigy of the Waves and then just attack military back. Because if you just don't attack political, then the political rival doesn't do anything. And he wasted away the Crane and already on it. And if you do attack political, you just lose. So yeah, I would just not use that conflict at all. Menacing Iron Warrior comes down as well. So this is going to be Phoenix's first conflict, and he's selecting the Void Ring. Interesting. He is going military. So you can go military with the Prodigy, covert the Brash Samurai, I guess, because he has more skill. Going with both, actually, sure. So the Void Ring, the Void Ring doesn't actually feel that great here, I think. Like, what are you going to do? You're going to void the... If you void the Steward of Law, then it feels extra bad that you forgot meditations. If you void the Menacing Iron Warrior, then it dies next turn, I guess. I don't know, like, this doesn't really seem that great. He could have gone for Fire and honor up this Prodigy with 3 Fate. That seems pretty good. I think Fire is like the ring right now that both players should be looking at. So it looks like the covert was on the Menacing Iron Warrior, so the Brash Samurai defends, and we see a pass on the Crane side. So a problem here for Crane now, find Katana there on the Prodigy. All of the honored characters are leaving play this turn, so he's really going to want to get an honor token on that Menacing Iron Warrior. If he can, which means a fire attack, probably. But the problem with that is that if you find Shameful Display, then you feel very sad. Fire Air. This is Seeker, so there's another Air. What do you run in Seeker? It could be upholding and then Kuroi Mori under box, or it could be shameful in the row and in that case, Earth under box, I guess. Do people do that? I don't know. We see a bonsai, we see a censure to cancel the bonsai, we see a supernatural storm that gets voice of honored, but he can just play that again. And yep, here it comes. So you need to be able to cancel this again. It would be really nice if he still had that bonsai from the first turn. See? Like that's the thing, right? We do see another voice of honor. Nice. He spent the bonsai to get one extra force to break a province, basically, which he didn't even really need to break in the first place necessarily. And if he had used the Artisan Academy earlier, he wouldn't have had to spend the bonsai at all, and he would still have it here. He is able to win that conflict, though, spending 3 cancels to do so. His hand size 6 to 4. Wow, that is not a lot. And this Prodigy of the Waves now is 5 military, so what are you going to do? Not to mention, Crane only has 1 fate left, even though he had 8 at the start of his turn. So he still will only be able to play like a 3 fate Yoshi next turn, probably. I think we should see Crane attack here, right? Like, he's getting the favor, no matter what. I think you could take the fate off of the air ring if you don't have any cards to win this conflict, or alternatively, either of the other rings are both very strong. We'll see what he does. Looks like it's going to be fire. So, like, if you attack fire here, you basically have to win, or you're just giving him a free province effect for nothing, probably. Ooh, it's Upholding Authority. So, Upholding Authority is actually good here, because now it kind of makes it awkward for Phoenix to defend, but at the same time, you have to defend, right? Like, you can't just let him get a 3rd break for free when he only has 4 cards in hand with the Upholding Authority. Ooh, no defense, actually. So yeah, it looks like he is running the row with Kuroi Mori under box, which I guess could potentially make it very difficult for Crane to break the stronghold, but he is going to give up a firing here. Unless he does have the display of power, we actually don't know if he has that or not. He could still have one in his hand. And that would be very strong, actually. We see a let go to discard the fine katana there. Probably has 2 let goes in hand. Although if he does have 2 in hand, then I might consider let going both of those attachments there. We'll see what else he has though. But yeah, this break here will put him on the stronghold. But he's going to need to have a cancel in hand in case there is the display of power. Like, I think the Well, no, because upholding authority. Wait, what order is that going? Formal invitation. Okay. Is it province break, then claim ring, or hold on, let me double check. Well, it's about to happen, so. Okay, so it is province break first, it looks like. So you get to discard the cancel and then play your display of power. Let me just double check. Okay, so he has a menacing iron wire in hand. Are we seeing... Wow, we actually see no display of power, so he got a little bit lucky there. The Phoenix player didn't have it. Let me just check the conflict resolution window again. So it's break province, resolve ring effects, claim ring, and then display of power. This is a useful timing thing to know. After you... Oh, wait, display of power is after you lose an unopposed conflict. For some reason I thought it was claim ring, but that's Hotaru and Toturi. So yeah, the lose conflict actually does happen before the province break. So if you do have a cancel in hand, you can cancel display of power before they get to use upholding authority. It's in display power is played in step 3.2.3. But yeah, one card in hand for Crane. Fortunately, though, he does have the Yoshi in the province row with the favor, which is going to be staying with him this turn. Formal invitation, okay, sure. So I don't think Phoenix can win this conflict. We'll see. We see a court games, okay. That's good to get the dishonor off here. But he did at least get the fade off the airing. If he had another storm, he could do it, but if he did, he probably would have played it in the other conflict. I guess he could have a fan. Nope. So Crane does manage to keep the favor, but again, all three of these honored characters are about to leave play, which is going to leave him with no honored characters on the board. So we're going to have to see this Yoshi come in to equalize the hand sizes here. But I think it's very likely that it gets clouded. So hopefully he can find enough let goes. I think we've seen two. No, one. One from each player. Yeah. The Prodigy having covert is going to be a little bit of a problem now. What I would probably do as alphasquid actually is just discard everything except Yoshi here. Huge Stewart poke, yeah. Yeah, sure. It's not Rally though. I think it's Kuroi Mori. There's no way it's Rally. Because we've seen, he's Seeker of Air, we've seen Air, Fire, Earth. So this other one has to be an air. There's no way that's not an air province. So that means the stronghold is either water or void, right? In which case it has to be Krorimori. There's no way. Wow, Tadaka with 3 fate too. So that is gonna turn off let goes. The one thing Crane does have going for him still is no broken provinces to 3 on the other side, and Magistrate stations still face up. So as long as he can get a character honored here, this is a 3 fate Yoshi, right? Could be a 2 fate Yoshi, I guess, because Phoenix is gonna take the passing fate. But back to what I was saying is I would have discarded everything that's not Yoshi here, because that way you increase your chances of finding like a favorable ground, which would be really nice with the covert here. You could find storehouses, only 1 card in hand. You can even find more Yoshis to put more fate on him. Wow, 1 fate Yoshi. Yeah, that apparently that's the play. Phoenix does take the passing fate there. We know that his hand is Menacing Iron Warrior, exactly. Yeah, 3 fate guess could be good too. But 1 fate Yoshi, I don't know about that one. So now he's sitting on 2 fate with a 3 fate card in his hand, and he doesn't know what he's going to draw. Feel like a large part of his deck is turned off? Well, yeah, you're right there. Court games, Voice of Honor, For Shame is a big one. Let Go, Way of the Crane, all of those are quite big. If the Phoenix player gets a cloud on this Yoshi, there will just be nothing you can do about it. I mean, he was taking a long time to think about that. The choice there was play Cautious Scout with 0 or pass. Playing Cautious Scout with 0 seems not very good, probably. I would have just played, like, if you really want to save fate, you play 2 fate Yoshi, or 3 fate Guest. He can still Noble Sack Tadaka. I mean, that's true, but in order to do that, you have to honor one of your characters and dishonor Tadaka and draw the Noble Sack. And he currently has a Menacing Iron Warrior and 5 other cards in his hand. He can't play Court Games. He can't play Way of the Crane. Like, it's going to be super tough to get that off, even if he has it. Well, yeah, shameful, but Phoenix is just going to attack Magistrate Station. So he would have to first break Magistrate Station and then attack back and hit Shameful with Tadaka. I mean, yeah, you gotta let Magistrate Station break, I agree there. But he has Covert on both of these characters now. I don't know. Like, if I'm Phoenix here, I mean, I guess you're just going Earth, right? Because it has a fate. And cards are important. But you could also consider going Fire or Void. If you have Display of Power in your hand, you just go Earth. Probably. Like, I think the big problem here is just that the Crane player can't play any cards, basically. There might be, like, one card in his hand he can play, but it's... I don't know. Like, I don't really see him breaking the Stronghold this turn. Dreamer on Earth. Dreamer and Prodigy on Earth. So you could go political here and Covert Yoshi. That seems okay. Yeah, it looks like that is going to be the play. Yep, and we see no defense, so yeah, he's just going to let this break. No reason, I imagine, to even try and defend this here. But yeah, the other thing about his box being Kuroi Mori is that whatever ring Crane attacks, um, you could potentially just send that ring back and give him something useless, and then prevent the break, and then attack with the ring that you wanted. We see Clarity of Purpose, strong. Let's see. Earth Ring discards court games. That doesn't matter since he couldn't play it. Which discard? alphasquid passes his first conflict. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I guess I'll just leave it open since Tadaka's here. Trying to go for an all-in. Yeah, that does seem to be the idea here. Like, he's hoping that the Phoenix player will just waste all his guys attacking. Because he can, yeah, he has a lot of extra provinces he can just trade, but I don't think he's going to do that, right? Like, he's going to have an against the waves or something. Oh, he's attacking water. Okay. I mean, I guess. Alright. Don't you covert the steward if you're doing that? I get. He hasn't chosen coverts yet, I guess, but yeah, it's a free attack, sure, but not if he hits like. Okay, he hit meditations. That's fine. If he hit shameful, then might not have been as fine. But yeah, you should still do void. I agree. If he has an against the waves in hand, he should 100% do void. Or even like what does alphasquid have in his hand that he can actually play? Is the question, I think. Like, I can't imagine how many katanas has he played. He's played one katana. So like, if he has two more katanas, he's at 6 military, and you're at 5 with just Tadaka. Admit defeat, yeah, sure. Phoenix could have a conflict character though to play around that. Artisan Academy finds Fumiki. Not really gonna do much. Yeah, for sure. Like, honestly, I don't see a way for Crane to possibly break the stronghold here. Unless Phoenix's hand is like somehow complete garbage and Crane has every card he needs. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. He could get 14 military if he has the other Menacing Iron Warrior. That would be 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 political. So you just leave it on political then. Looks like Isomalt figured out that there's no password. Yep, gonna be a break there. And then you bow the Stewart and stand up the Prodigy. Like, I guess technically Crane is not out of the game yet, but he's just gonna get stuck on Kuroi Mori and then his board dies next turn and then he just loses, right? Oh wait, he didn't use Prodigy? What? um, Interesting. Very interesting. Yeah, the one times admit defeat. Let's see it. I mean, Phoenix, he can against the waves. Yeah, it's in his discard pile for sure. There's no way that Crane breaks this. So political 8. Tadaka defends with 3. I mean, we're going to get to see another turn here. But yeah, not using the Prodigy there was a mistake for sure. So no reason not to do that. You don't even need her to get favor. Okay, we see, and we even see a Cloud the Mind on Yoshi as well. So Crane won't be drawing any more cards here. This is good though, since he forces a ton of resources to defend. Yeah, true. We see a pass. I mean, it is breaking, so yeah. Supernatural Storm. Yep. Like I was about to say, I don't think it's like physically possible for Phoenix's hand to be so dead that he just can't stop Crane here. Yeah, I mean, I think he's also trying to kill Tadaka, maybe. Um, well, he's just gonna switch the ring then, right? Oh, he switches the conflict type. Okay, so he is winning now. I was gonna say like any one cost conflict character from Phoenix just makes it so it's impossible for him to break because he can just switch to military. So yeah, defender winning and pass. Worth trading the admit defeat for the against the waves. Yeah, I can see that being true. That's what I was thinking. Like, if you have it, do you just trade? He only has 5 cards in his hand, though, and we know one of those is a Menacing Iron Warrior, so very possible he doesn't have it. Fumiki at home with 1 Fate. Okay. Like, he gets to play her. It's like, well, no, it's not for favor. He's not getting favor anyway. Phoenix has 3 rings. I think he's just playing it because it's +1 card since it was from the Artisan Academy. Yeah, I mean, like, I definitely don't think it was probably the right play, but One thing I definitely want to see more of on the Crane side is discarding cards in provinces. Like, there were a ton of opportunities where he could have just discarded a bunch of his cards and probably gotten something better, or at least not worse. Yeah, I mean, I don't think the game will be going on that much longer, but we'll see. And yeah, finally discards that Cautious Scout. Ooh, 2 storehouses and 2 whisperers. I mean, I guess this is potentially the political skill that he needs here, but no, it just gets switched. Yeah, it just gets switched to military anyway, so it's not gonna help out too much. So there's one Doji Whisper, there's a Mia Mystic. Second Doji Whisper. And Suki, 1 fate, okay. So yeah, huge amount of political skill for Crane here. 3, 6, 9, 15, 16, 17, but unfortunately that's not going to do a whole lot against the stronghold. And if he just defends and waits till next turn, then his whole board dies, which I can't imagine is going to be good. There'll still be a 3 fate Tadaka on the other side as well as this Tsuki. He does finally find some storehouses, but it's a little bit too late since this Tadaka is hanging out here. Not sure there's a whole bunch of stuff in the deck at this point that he is going to be able to play. Although he does have a lot of fate, so he could find like another political rival maybe. To at least try and defend on political. So I mean, I think the major mistakes on the Crane side, because he actually had pretty good luck early on with the Phoenix player finding Magistrate Station as the first province and not being able to break it for a while. But the game ended up not really going his way, so I think the major mistakes that he made were I felt like he spent a lot of resources really early on to not really do that much. Like, there was the bonsai I was talking about that he played just to get the break on the province that he didn't really need to break. And then he played a political rival with 2 fate and hit meditations, so then it was only 1 fate. And so he had a bunch of low fate characters, and he managed to get them all honored, but then they all left play. So then the Magistrate Station kind of stopped being useful and got broken. I think like when you have that magistrate station turned on for you, you really just need to get like a big character out there, get it honored, and just keep standing up and doing work in multiple conflicts. And then knowing like when you need to use certain resources and when you should save them. Those are probably the big things here. What are we waiting for here? Crane passes conflict. Like, honestly, I don't see how this game is not super over. Phoenix can just go... What can he go? Probably, yeah, you probably just go military water, covert the warrior, menacing iron warrior, and bow it. I guess you could run into Shameful here, so probably don't send Tadaka. Just send maybe Prodigy and Mystic. Or just Prodigy even. Ooh, Art of Peace. Okay. Oh, let me highlight that. So Art of Peace, I don't think this is a province that you should probably play in Crane. I know that Micah was playing it for quite a while, and it's obviously not the worst province in the world, but I think the other air provinces are just better. So I'm going to go ahead and say don't play Art of Peace. Just play Manicured or Fertile instead. You probably don't even want to break here as Phoenix, because then you get dishonored. I would just pass. Save it for later. You can break it on your last conflict this turn, and then... Yeah, like you just pass here, you bow the Menacing Iron Warrior, you honor Tsuki, you unbow your Prodigy, and then you just... Oh, Shrine Maiden, okay. So he is going to go for the break. I guess that's okay. That does let... No, he still can't play... Because if he plays a character, then it won't be breaking. He gets a Clarity Purpose and an Against the Waves off of the Shrine Maiden there. That is going to be the break, so dishonor on both of those Phoenix characters now. Bows Yoshi actually, okay. That makes sense, because if you're gonna be going in on political with this next conflict, and if Yoshi's there, you might not be able to do a whole lot. You want to at least get the ring effect and flip the Crane Stronghold on the next attack, so that next turn you're all set up for the break. And Crane will just have no board left, so it should be pretty easy. We're looking at 10 political for Phoenix. Yeah, so he should be able to win the next conflict at least. And actually, with 2 coverts on the board, He might even be able to break this turn. Well, I imagine we would probably see the political rival come out um, if the stronghold is breaking, but he might not have it. It's probably, um, I'm guessing, entrenched under stronghold. Has to be that or rally. This is something that I actually kind of want to talk about since there's not a whole lot going on in the game to talk about right now. I feel like I see this a lot with new players, or not, I shouldn't say new players, but less experienced players, because obviously these two players have a good idea of what they're doing. But a lot of times with less experienced players, towards the end of the game, you see a lot of the action windows. Actually, even some really good players do this too, although they do have good reason when they do it usually. But you'll see a lot of the action windows really get drawn out when, as a spectator, it kind of just looks like the game is over, and you sort of start to wonder, like, what are they spending so much time thinking about? Um, and yeah, I mean, it feels like one of those situations, but like at the same time, I don't want to, I don't want to like um, get on anyone's case for taking their time to think. This is, of course, an untimed event, so you can take as much time to think as you want as long as your opponent is okay with it. And that can be good. But I think there are some games where you pretty much just lost the game, and you can tell that by looking at the board. And in those games, you could probably skip over some decisions that aren't really going to matter. Anyway, that's my little rant, I guess, about having to sit here and watch people think about what they're going to do next. I guess it's nicer when you have a co-caster, because then it's not just me talking. I have someone else to talk about things with. It looks like we're finally, like, honestly though, this is taking longer than it should, I think, at this point. Like I went through that whole thing and we still haven't even got to the next conflict. Do blame Isomalt for not casting, yeah. Actually, I don't think Isomalt has ever been a co-caster on a a Legend of the Five Rings game. I could be wrong, but I don't think I've ever seen him do one. Um, that's what the mod powers meant. No, I gave I gave a couple people moderator in here that I know pretty well, I guess. Just not really for any reason, but like I don't think we really need mods in these streams, because it's just the L5R community, which is pretty small and well behaved for the most part. Um, but I figured might as well, just in case. So a few people have that. We do see entrenched position, so he chose to poke with the Mia Mystic, going air, getting the fate there. I guess he was worried about it being rally to the cause. But yeah, entrenched position is what I was expecting. We see no defense and box. How many Shugenja does he have? 4 Shugenja. So if he has a storm in his hand, he can play a 1-cost conflict character and storm it twice. And that would actually be a break here. But I guess that loses to rival because it's political. we see assassinate on Suki. Well, I think he just doesn't care about the airing, right? Like, if you box him, you're pretty sure he's not going to be able to break this, so you just let him have an airing, because who cares? Yep. He actually gains 2 honor. The correct move there is to steal 1 honor, but again, I don't think it's actually going to matter, so I'll let that one slide. But you should usually steal 1 honor when you don't have anything to worry about honor-wise, but your opponent does. Who needs to look at rings? Yeah, I mean, he went air because it had a fade on it. Oh, wow. I didn't realize they had both passed a conflict there. Wait. Okay. Interesting. Like, that's fine for Phoenix, because he still has Tadaka. But for Crane, what are you gonna do now? Yeah, he did have double covert. That is true. So he could have gone for a break there if he wanted to. Yeah. Yeah, I expected like some sort of big conflict to happen that round, right? Like with all of that force on the board, felt kind of weird to just do nothing with it. Phoenix gets Master of Gisei Toshi and Adept of the Waves. And he does have first player, so you could just play both of these characters and then have double covert again and go water. There's a good chance he'll have his Feral Negios back. So he can probably get some kind of break on water. You probably actually go political because it's entrenched position. So you go political water with everyone, and then you covert the big political characters that Crane plays, and then you just play out Ningyos and you win, right? Yeah, Gisei Toshi's... I mean, he already has Tadaka, so I don't think he really needs it. But some extra political skill. Um, yeah, plus more Shigenjas, that's true as well. And then Crane is probably going to play out all of these characters here. Like, he just has to play as much as he can to try and prevent this break. You could play... Yeah, honestly, probably just everything with 1 fate. Asami 1 fate puts you at 4. You could just not play the Kalo Delegate and then save your other 4 fate for a 1 fate rival. Rival would actually be pretty strong here if he does choose to go for political. So that might be a reason to go military, actually. Um, he has 9 military on board, and then 2 Ningyos would put him at 15. And then you just co-write the Challenger and the someone else. Oh, but we know that alphasquid has the Menacing Iron Warrior in hand. Ooh, bids 3. Okay, so why didn't you steal an honor last turn if you want to pressure honor? Right? He would be at 2 honor now. It's better than 1. Yeah, that was just a mistake, I think. Should have definitely taken 1 honor instead of gaining 2. How long has this game been going? 1 hour, 22 minutes. Pretty long. Steal honor, bid 1, go air. Yeah, that would have been a pretty easy line. I guess Crane does have a Sami here, but I mean, he didn't know that last turn. If he bid 1, Crane would be at 1 honor, so he wouldn't have been able to bid 5 if you stole 1 last turn. Looks like Isomalt is back, and the game is still not over yet. Yeah, they were waiting. Out of the waves. So yeah, it looks like he is going to go for the water. I think he likely has those Ningyo in his hand. Made salad dressing too, wow. So yeah, you co-write the Doji Challenger and the Whisper, and you go military water at the Stronghold. You have 15 skill if you have both of your Ningyo. Ooh, political. Oh, he put a fan on the adept. Yeah, so he is going political here, it looks like. So he will have 11, 12 political skill, actually. Yeah, vegetables can be good. Man, now I want to eat something. So, political water, coverts, both of those guys. And I think if he has the rival, that's probably going to get clouded. And I guess it would just barely be enough, but he's got to have like a storm or something, right? I'm pretty sure Rival is like the only card in alphasquid's deck that he can still play, unless he has some fans in his hand. Which he could have. He has 16 cards. That's actually a lot. And we haven't seen any fans yet. So yeah, could have 3 fans. Yeah, he has a rival in discard. So most people run 2 rivals, I believe, in Crane, so there's probably only 1 left in the deck. But he has most of the remaining deck in his hand. We know there's an Against the Waves in the Phoenix hand. We don't know if he has his 3rd Storm. But if there's no political rival here, then I don't know. I think he has to have the rival, or there's no way. Because like even two fans doesn't stop this. He needs to have some kind of conflict character. I mean, I guess he could play the menacing iron wire and put two fans on that, or a steward of law. That works as well. It's still breaking. We see clarity on Tadaka, sure. No political rival. I mean, we don't know that, do we? Ancient Master. He still has 4 fate. Would assume that would go down first. I mean, I guess, but not necessarily. I don't know. We'll see. I mean, yeah, I agree. Probably no rival. There's a fan on Tadaka. It's still breaking, so that was kind of not necessary. But sure, why not? So Phoenix is plus 11 right now. He only needs 7, so 2 fans is not enough still for Crane. He would need 3 fans. Or a political rival would do it instantly. There's fan number 1. Phoenix has got to have a let go, right? Oh, he's played 2. Okay, so not necessarily, but still a good chance that he has the 3rd let go. Either way, it's still breaking, so you pass, right? Yep. And I'm guessing we'll see fan number 2. There it is. If Phoenix has Assassinate, he can just end it at this point. Like, if you assassinate the Steward of Law here, he has to literally have the rival. No. Doesn't play it, though. Maybe he doesn't have Assassinate in his deck. I don't know if Phoenix's still do. Or it could just not have it in his hand. I think they usually have one. Menacing Iron Warrior with 0 fate. So, okay. That is enough to prevent the break, but Phoenix still has... Like, he can just use the box to play Supernatural Storm. And then that... Yeah, box Supernatural Storm just straight up ends the game, I think. Ningyo, that does not, because you can Crane box that. I guess if he had the last rival and the last fan, you'd still need one more thing, but... This really is dragging on here. So back to Phoenix. You could have another Ningyo. If he has another Ningyo, then it's over. If he has a Ningyo, if he has a Fan, if he has a Storm, he has a Storm. Okay, it's over. Like, yeah, I'm not really sure why that action window took so long if you had the Storm in your hand. Like, Crane literally can't play anything except attachments and characters, and at this point you just double Storm and you win. I think that probably took a little bit longer than it should have. Yeah, there's the pass. So that is going to be the game there. um, really wanted to hold those back, but there's no holding back if you can win the game, right? That that doesn't really make sense. I don't know. Yeah. All right. Well, yeah, definitely it definitely was a strong start there for Crane with the magistrate station, but like I said a little bit earlier, there were some mistakes there, I think, out of Crane. But yeah, so the Phoenix player here is going to continue his winning streak. He is 3-0 now in his group. Meanwhile, alphasquid goes to 1-1, so he still has a shot at the cup for sure. Still a lot of games left to play. And the other player is, of course, not locked in yet either at 3-0. But yeah, they'll have to play the rest of their games there. Oh yeah, co-rating. That's what I was thinking. I forgot about that. That kind of slipped by me unnoticed, I think, because I was thinking you co-rate the Brash Samurai, right? But he decided to co-rate the Menacing Iron Warrior instead. That was like way back. Um, but yeah, I don't know. Interesting game either way. Yeah, so it looks like he actually did have the admit defeat, but yeah, didn't have enough fate. And of course, that still lost to like literally any conflict character, um, or an against the waves in hand. Yeah, Yoshi over guest. That's another consideration because you could have put an extra fate on guest. Yeah, but either way, that's gonna do it for this game. So thanks everybody for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.